Somewhere over water access, I spread my wings for the first time. Just a young Pteranodon, riding the wind and gliding through the air, looking for my first meal. The life of a Pteranodon is quite tricky. There are some difficulties ahead and we're gonna face them. First of all, it is that I want some hidden mutations. I don't know if I'll be able to squeeze them in because there's just not enough time with how the stamina system works. For example, I want tendons and I want salt water. However, if I go for tendons, I'll probably hit my second mutation before I can even complete it with how slow the stamina regeneration is. See, the PT doesn't get its stamina back under any circumstances. I do think that it should get it back while you're gliding. Like very slowly, that would be really nice, but that's not the case. And sitting down to get it just takes too long. But let's get into it. Step 1 is finding some food. I really need it. Because if I first go for the mutation without eating, I'll simply be starving while getting my stamina back. That's just how bad it is. But we're gonna make the best of it, and we're gonna make this work. A bunch of dilos. I was hoping they would have a turtle, but that does not seem to be the case. I upped my gamma a little bit so that I can actually have some vision, because this is actual helpful. The natural night vision of a PT is just not good enough. It's actually really bad. And let's get some jumping jacks in. I think we can squeeze a few. One thing I really like about PT is the amazing views that you have. Like, you'll get vantage points that others can only dream of. They're stuck to the floor. Of course, herreras can share this, but the moment you take off, there's nothing quite like it. I do like that unique aspect of Pteranodon. However, we need some food, and I don't think this island has DoorDash, so we should probably go look for some. Now it is quite challenging because fish doesn't really work at the moment, so our PT is gonna have to survive without its usual resources. Normally it has access to AI, at the moment it's broken. So we're going to have to improvise, and I figured I would fly into highlands because that's usually where I can scavenge a meal. It's the center of the island after all. I also think the activity there is pretty regular. So we should have some good fortune. And if there's nothing, then we are cooked. We're absolutely cooked. Like, look at my stomach. This is why I also think that PT getting stamina midair while gliding is such a help. The air vents, I don't think they are hitting the spot, scratching the itch. PT just needs better stamina. And simply increasing its stamina pool, I don't think that would do the trick. I really think that getting a little bit back while gliding and not, having any control input on it is the way to go about it. But that's, this is not that type of video. I'm not here to give a balanced feedback. Simply here to do some gaming. Also, I'm a bit unfortunate. Because of this thick mist bank, I won't be able to really scan the ground for any corpses that I cannot smell yet. So I might be flying over one or two things that I normally would be able to spot and eat, but yeah, let's just chalk it up to bad luck. I also think I need some stamina, because if I do see something and then have to ground myself, I would have to have a bit of stamina to survive. I also want to fly a bit higher because I won't get anywhere. Alright. Now my stamina is getting really... It just doesn't regen the way you would expect it to for such a tiny animal that is so reliant on it. And my stomach is pretty much dying, so Yeah, I hear a raptor calling. My experience is that raptors usually have sources of food around them. Maybe it's because I usually do, but yeah. Let's go check out that call real quick. I like how the mist makes it so eerie. Like, the scenery is absolutely cool. It's just sad that I don't have stamina or food. That's all. I need a lucky break. That's all I need. Oh, I see the raptor. He's on this rock. Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna try to go into the canyon. I think, might luck out. And if not, then, oof. I hope I'll be able to glide all the way to Westro Axis if there's nothing there. Just gonna have to see. I think this first phase is quite tricky. It is a little bit easier when you spawn at West Axis because the turtles there actually do spawn. But there's also a lot of PTs in that area that are violent, so there's a risk of getting cannied while eating a turtle. And yeah, since I can fly, my philosophy is pretty much that I should be able to find food with that ability alone. Like, flying is such a powerful utility. Also, I think there should be an air vent here, but maybe because of the time of the... Oh, I smell food. Am I saved? I hear some movement, I don't like that. But I gotta go for broke here. Okay, there doesn't seem to be anything up here. I smell it over here. Is it over? Ah, it's here over the edge. I see it. And I reached that. Oh, I'm happy I can fly. That would have been an easy way to break my bones. Can I grab it from here? Oh yes, let's go. Okay. This is good. This is really good. Even organs? Oh wow. Let's go. I don't think I can get the mutations the way I want. I also wanted cannibalism. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I do like the aspect of mid-air combat. However, I would have to eat several full-grown Pteranodons. And I don't think I can make that. Not before I reach 100% at least. The fact that the mutation is on slot 2 and you have to eat a certain volume of it before you can unlock it, and you hitting 100% before you can unlock it, I find that a design flaw, but yeah, we'll just do it without cannibalizing other PTs for once. I think we can do just fine hunting juveniles. And I think another really cool aspect is that you get to observe. Like, Pteranodon is really great as an observer. Flying overhead, seeing what everybody else is doing. You kind of feel like a drone, you know? Like you're just flying above, capturing whatever else is happening on the island. And that is one aspect about PT that I also really like. As for now, it's quite misty, and I think it's better if we just keep our head down and wait it out. With daytime returning, I started making some plans. I figured I would go towards the area where the swamp is and the beaches. I figured I would have access to turtles and crabs, and I happen to know that there's a lot of juveniles that roam that area. So I waited till my stamina came back after unlocking reinforced tendons. And I headed out again. I was almost big enough to start actually hunting stuff, and I figured by the time I'd get there I would be big enough to actually do so. So now I just had to make the trip. Once again, the weather would turn bad. As it started to rain, it wouldn't be long before it started to get really cloudy and very dark. Everything shiny on the land, all the pretty views, gone in an instant. And I found myself in a storm. Which would increase the difficulty level of scoring a meal. However, visibility was quickly dropping. So I decided to land on a nearby rock and just tough it out. Once again, I would have loved it if gliding would have restored my stamina, but that was another reason for me to ground myself, as my bird needed some rest. I do understand the argument, like if I could have stamina for days, that would enable me to scout for others and mix back. Not something I would participate in, but if it would enable it for others, that would be a problem. However, I do think a little bit of stam would be fine. Like a dino can get it back from swimming, I would love to get it back by gliding. Every time I'm grounded and have to sit, I just feel it takes too long. However, after my rest, I got back up again and headed out, but this time with a taste for meat. I wanted to kill something and get a proper meal. instead of scavenging. So, I headed to the one place where I knew I could find juveniles almost guaranteed. The beaches in the south. Now I have to be careful, it is quite active here. Usually you can find Sarahs, herreras, occasionally a Dinosuchus, and pretty much anything that is lethal towards me. So I would have to watch myself. But I figured I'd give it a go. Here I spot something small, but it's too close to the wall and I don't want to get herrera. I am on their diet, so let's not give them a reason. Oh, there's a croc here as well. Let's see what else we can find. Honestly, I'm so hungry I would even just settle for a crab or a turtle. But if the opportunity arises, I'll go for something else. Alright, let's see if we can score something here. Needs to be empty on this side. Or maybe not. It's a crab and a turtle. Oh, I missed. Bruh. Used to be so good at catching these. But with PT's increased speed, I have to get used to it. There we go. Let's just pick that up and put that in a safe place. I think I'll opt for a rock. I doubt they'll catch me here. That hits the spot. I think I saw a herrera over here. Yeah, I did. Let's do some target practice. Yeah, I definitely need target practice. Oh, he's trying to hit me as well. Not that it matters though. There we go. Alright, let's go and eat that. Oh, hold on, what's that? Of course. Is there one time in your life where you guys can, get your own food and not just hog this beach? You guys are Sarahs for crying out loud. Why are Sarahs camping this beach like lazy bums? 3 of them nonetheless. Go hunt a dibble. Go hunt anything. Going after turtles. I can't, guys, I can't. I cannot comprehend why people would do this. To just litter this beach with as many Sarahs as possible. Instead of going out there for a hunt, like I know I would. Maybe it's time for me to play a Sarah session. And clean everything. I'll bring my own squad if I... Oh, what's that? Yeah, no. There's enough Sarahs already. You're going down. It's like a rat infestation. I guess I'm gonna have to be the exterminator. I think if I deny the juveniles, then that's a start. Get off my beach. To start calling them It's a Ratosaurus. Oh, bruh. Okay, you wanna play Tom and Jerry? I'll play. Just look at them. Absolutely clockwork. I mean, I have to say, every time I raise the topic that Sarah shouldn't be good at hunting, they're like, what? If we just are scavengers, just corpse bullies, that would be boring. But here, look at this. They actually are corpse bullies, I have to give them that. Like the moment the body drops, they're like, mine, mine, mine. Like they remind me of the seagulls of Finding Nemo. So at least they play their part, I guess. There's always so many Sarahs on this beach. It is getting ridiculous. Alright. Guess I'll just go for this grab here and take it and leave. Kinda need water again. I think I'll head into the swamp and relax a little. And I guess by the time I come out of the swamp, I should be full grown. So yeah, let's do just a little grow session. It was time again to continue my journey. One step closer to being an adult. I headed back to the beach. And I must say, the swamp is a lot less empty than I thought it was. Seeing a Maya, hearing a stego nearby. I might visit this place someday again on another dino to see what can be done in this area. But for now, I just want to score a meal. And it was time to leave the swamp behind. As I made my way back, I ran into a weird situation. Sarahs were camping a BP on a rock. With a croc below, the poor guy had nowhere to turn. So, I tried to intervene. And I took on all of the Sarahs by myself. I knew I wasn't gonna get anywhere with it, especially because they have gastro and any damage I would do to them would just be nullified the moment they eat. But I wanted to protect the duck. So, I went after their little ones. To try force them to focus more on me than on the duck. However, one Sarah was determined to kill the BP, and it did. Sadly, it died, and I wasn't able to protect it. But I was gonna give them hell. I was gonna annoy the absolute shit out of them. See, if you fly above a target at a certain height, you can hit them, but they cannot hit you. Now this went on for a while, and while this was ongoing, the rest of the island kept doing its thing. From a little Sarah just casually strolling down the woods, a Dino just chilling in the ocean, or a Herrera just sitting on his tree. Business as usual. And after harassing the Sarahs for a bit, I decided to head to the other beach to see if anything would be there. So I left again. But not after getting a little bit of a meal. Yum. And I also figured I'd eat a crab to balance out my diets a bit more. Triple dot diet helps more towards stamina regeneration, and God knows I need it. After eating the crab and heading to the other side, I noticed something. The Dinosaur was fighting with 4 Ceratops all on its own. And he was winning. As I saw the battlefield littered with corpses, I got to witness the last one dying. Amazing. Thank you, Tenno. You did a big part of the community's work here. Doing God's work, honestly. Whoever you are. I decided to head for the plains. Get a drink. And get my stamina back up. And after that, I came back. I remembered all the dying that had occurred. And I figured I could scavenge a little. Sadly, the Dinosaurus bled out. It did not survive the encounter. Well, yeah, a big feast for me. 4 dead Sarahs and a dead Tenanto. It was like I was shopping in a supermarket. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I could just had a little feast in the shadows. Afterwards, I decided to just find a quiet place and wait for the night to go away. And in the morning, I was met with a beautiful sunrise with a pretty good view over the island. It was calm. A trike nearby, just going about its day. But it wasn't calm everywhere. I heard some commotion and I decided to check it out. And found a little raptor squaring off with a little carno. The carno was hiding inside of the log. And honestly, I just wanted food. Some organs to eat. Make my life a little easier. But mostly, to make Pteranodon the terror from the sky it is supposed to be towards the young. I was playing my part. Reminding them how dangerous the island can be when you're young. The carno got stuck in the log and couldn't get out. My guess is that he grew so big that he was essentially trapped. It only had a little peek hole where it could receive damage in, so me being me, I decided to try some trick shots to land damage right through the opening. Which was surprisingly working better than I thought. Not all the shots were landed, and I had some trouble landing them. But this carnotaurus was in trouble. And little by little, I took it down. Problem number 2, however. The food is underneath the log, and I would have to ground myself and put myself in a very vulnerable position while there were raptors nearby. If I would give these guys a chance to pounce on me, I'm sure they would. So I fell back for a moment. Just to make sure the coast is clear. And if they would come for the food, I would hunt them down. A while later I noticed that the raptors went for another target. And I took the chance to quickly swoop down and extract some of the organs. One by one, I transported the organs back to the top of a cliff, where I could eat them safely. I had to be quick, however. The raptors were still lurking nearby, and if they caught wind of what I was doing, I was sure I would get ambushed. So this was a little bit scary. But I wasn't gonna let my prize slide away. I knew I had to strike the iron while it was hot. And get the organs to a safe place before they catch wind of it. I had the stomach, I had the intestines, and I had the heart. Honestly, that was good enough for me. Whatever else was down there, they could have it. And I kind of took it just in time, because not much later after I extracted the organs, they noticed the body and came in for the leftovers. If I had done this any later, I would have died. In the end, everybody happy. Except for the Carno, of course. Although he was stuck there, he was gonna starve in there. So I figured we did him a favor in the end of it all. And yeah. Ended up chatting a bit with Napon in the global chat. While the raptors tore apart the rest of the body. I wanted to check out Westrail. Figured the sanctuary might have some baby trikes. And I wanted some prey diversity. Instead of just snacking on the same thing over and over. So, I headed out again. And when I arrived there, I noticed something interesting. A whole flock of Pteranodon were already occupying the area. So I decided, like, hey, strength in numbers. This beats hunting on my own. Also recognized one of the PTs, so I felt safe enough to land in the middle of them without getting devoured. These guys were chill, there were no cannies. Hey guys, how's life? Oh, they have a nest as well. That's pretty dope. Didn't expect to find this many PTs here. I quite like it. And honestly, it's not at all a bad place to be nesting in, because there's plenty of food available in this area. Aside from the juveniles, there's also a lot of tacos, turtles and crabs on the beaches. So yeah, pretty much worth it. However, I was here for an entirely different target. I was here for the young triceratops. The only stage in its life where I can pose a threat to it and put it on the menu. And considering that we had babies, how cute, I figured, why not help them raise these young and create an absolute army. So, I did. It wouldn't take long before the prey I came for made itself known. Time to attack. I almost died. But I wasn't gonna let up. I was gonna hunt him down. It was getting tricky. BT doesn't have a good way to deal with shelter. Because the last thing you can do as a PT is take any of the attacks. Even this young triceratops could one-shot me. But if you play your cards correctly, you can become its terror, not the other way around. He thought he gave me the slip. However, I was watching. Looking for any signs of movement. Waiting. And then striking once more. Finally, it fled into the sanctuary. Before I could finish it off. But I was pretty sure I got close. So I kept tabs on him. And I noticed more little triceratops. And to my shock, they started fighting each other. Probably over the resources available. Which is pretty common for herbivores to do. And the trike I was hunting, bad. passed away. However, it would be quite tricky to get the food, because with the other two trikes nearby, that was somewhat of a problem. I noticed one of them sitting down a little bit too close for me to scavenge the kill. So, I launched an attack. Letting him know that he was not safe below me. They picked up on the cue and they moved away, allowing for us to finally eat. I told the others to scavenge the kill, bring the organs to the babies. And just like that, we had some food once more. One other adult helped me, and together we pretty much started transporting the organs. And we had a great meal. At least the kids had. I decided not to eat from it, to give them a priority. Now the trikes, they knew that it was dangerous around here. But we would prove not to be the only danger. See, there was another predator in the area. And we hadn't noticed him. While the trikes were getting their food at the other side of the sanctuary, they were being watched. Watched by a killer equally dangerous to both them and us. A herrerasaurus. The one creature that could reach us. The one creature we had to watch out for. Fortunately, he was occupied. seem to be losing the fight against the baby trikes. This climbing dinosaur was a problem. If he managed to reach us, he could kill our kids and everything else. And we still had not detected him. Having spotted the baby trikes, I fixated on them once more, and I took some rest upon a rock, unaware of how close I was to dying, unaware that I was being snuck up on. Thankfully I heard him in time. I checked out what it was and I saw the herrera and I realized how close I got. If he was a bit higher up on the wall, my story would have ended right there. But now that I knew he was there, I could suppress him. Herreras might have the ability to climb, but I had the ability to fly. I just had to stay above him. And I forced him into hiding, letting him know that he is not welcome here. As bad weather set in, I warned the others about the presence of a herrera in the area. And we decided to guard the babies. If we could get eyes on each side of the rock, cover every angle, there would be no way for the herrera to approach us unseen. So in a nutshell, everybody back to base. And so we did. With these many eyes on the rock, I decided to fly around to see if I could spot him. He was somewhere in the area. However, I didn't see him. My eye is not good enough to spot him on the rocky surface. But he was definitely creeping up on us. Bro thought he was Tom Cruise in a Mission Impossible movie, but got warded off by the bees and enabled me to hear his location. I know that the bees respond to things that are too big, and I never take those sounds for granted. So I hunted him down. I was locked on my target. Going into the forest would not save him. We were letting him know that he was simply not welcome here. He hid in a bush away from my sights. With this many bushes around, I had no way of knowing in which one. I was just glad that he left the area and realized that we would retaliate, making the hunt not worth it. As the herrera could lose its life. As the server was about to restart, and honestly, it was very late for me. I had enough for the day. But I won't remember this bunch of people. This was a fun experience, and I'm happy I ran into them. The next day, the PTs were gone. Oh, not all of them. Noah, Hamud, and Alex had joined me on PT. And I wanted to see what it was like to have a coordinated Ptera group. What we could accomplish with it. However, first we would have to meet up. So, me and Alex flew out to find Noah and Hamud, who were in the southern plains. Or, as we like to call it, the savannah. Noah was somewhere nearby on a rock and Hamud was making its way over. But we ran into a baby Sarah and decided to just straight up go for it. He tried to two-call us without moving, but that doesn't work on us. Not when you're Sarah, at least. So after taking the organs, we decided to bring the rest to the boys so that everybody would have their stomach full. Ah, that's Noah. And after everybody got together, we set out. As a unit. Or, I should say, as a flock. To be correct about it. All four of us, deadly aerial hunters. It would be quite interesting to see how this would play out. And honestly, flying in formation is probably one of the coolest things I've ever done on a PT. It just had a different feel to it altogether. Like a scene from Jurassic Park. I quite liked it. One of us branched off, found a Gallimimus, a young one at that. Now this speedster is gonna be real tricky to hit, but Pteranodon is just as fast and has no issues keeping up with it. Hitting it though, it's an entirely different matter. And proved quite challenging. Personally, I wasn't good enough yet on PT to land those. Instead, I bit Hamut in the ass. On accident, of course. And we bumped into each other. As a true bunch of inexperienced team players when it comes down to Pteranodon. The coordination was there in spirit, but we were not able to execute it properly. We're used to fighting together as raptors, but as a PT it is a whole different ball game and proved quite challenging. We also quickly ran into issues with stamina and realized that we had to rotate with 2 PTs at a time doing the attacks, while 2 PTs stay on standby. So we were learning as we were going, learning pretty quick at that. And honestly, I don't think we did a bad job. This galley is truly getting pressured. He was getting terrorized from the sky. Probably an experience he never had before. And we forced it into hiding. He managed to give us the slip. Because of a nearby trike, we got distracted as we mainly hunt by sound, and we lost sight of the galley. However, I'm pretty sure this was an experience for it to remember. So as we got our stamina back and everything else on the island kept going as usual, with the triceratops going about its day, a little trio hopping around happily. We set out once again. After a few attempts to spot the galley, we figured it had left. And we headed for the beach, where we would run into the biggest danger the island has to offer. Tyrannosaurus Rex. And we spotted a few baby carnos. And we attacked. Once again, the coordination was not entirely there, but we got the job done. And we could feast on the little organs that actually fill us up quite a bit. And after eating, we decided to just relax a bit on a nearby rock. The Tyrannosaurus was pretty friendly, and it was quite funny as well. This Rex was trying to throw turtles on us, but didn't quite make it. Tried again. And he didn't seem to realize that turtles do not fly. So we were mocking him for his attempts, but at the same time appreciating his, goodwill. Poor guy. All in all, I think PT is very fun. It does have some serious stamina issues that really need to be addressed. But other than that, absolutely amazing playable. And I'm pretty happy that I had this adventure. Until next time.